I am currently in Summit, New Jersey, and it is the morning and I am heading east, but I wish to head west to Bedminster, New Jersey. And there's a bunch of cars in my way, but let's drive this route and see what we encounter along the way. See what's going on the radio.
Comments are rant and false information. Republicans, for their part, largely defended the FBI director, but beyond that, they focused their time talking about the issue of political violence, given that this previously scheduled hearing occurred less than a week after Charlie Kirk was assassinated.
And what was that message that we heard from Republicans?
Well, much like what we've heard from the White House, many GOP lawmakers alleged that the far left is to blame for fueling a larger culture of political violence. Missouri Republican Senator Eric Schmidt really focused on that.
We are lying if we think that this is a both sides thing. It's not.
And we should say investigators have not produced evidence connecting the suspect to any larger group or movement, and Democrats heavily rejected that narrative, given they've also been the targets of recent acts of political violence.
Now, Kash Patel is also facing allegations that he carried out politically motivated firings at the FBI. What did he say to those accusations?
Well, during his confirmation hearing, Patel said he wouldn't dismiss anyone on political grounds, but a lawsuit filed by 3 former FBI officials last week alleges he did just that. Democrats repeatedly raised concerns about that case, but when Patel was pressed on whether political retribution is happening at the FBI, he pushed back.
Any termination at the FBI was a decision that I made based on the evidence that I have as a director of the FBI, and it's my job, and I'm not going to shy away from it.
The Epstein case has been such a big topic of conversation on Capitol Hill. Did we learn anything new about it?
Well, short answer, no. Patel stressed that he and the administration more broadly have worked to be as transparent as possible on this, but it remains unclear if that'll be enough for lawmakers, and Patel will likely have to answer more questions about that today when he heads back to Capitol Hill.
That is NPR political reporter Elena Moore. Elena, thanks.
Thank you.
This is NPR News.
And this is WNYC. In New York, later on Morning Edition, President Trump plans to send the National Guard to Memphis. The state's Republican governor says, bring it on. The city's Democratic mayor does not agree with this.
I want to be clear, I did not ask for the National Guard, and I don't think it's the way to drive down crime.
Overall crime has fallen in Memphis this year and has now reached a 25-year low. We'll have more on that story in about 15 minutes. Then stick around for the BBC News Hour that's coming up at 9 right here on WNYC right after Morning Edition.
WNYC is supported by 59E59 Theaters, presenting This Much I Know, a new play by Jonathan Spector about the science of decision-making, through October 19th. Tickets at 59e59.org.
New York City's ferry system carries over 70 million people a year. The subway, more than 1 billion. And the number of drivers, forget about it. That's why you need On the Way, a weekly transit segment from Gothamist and WNYC. Each week, our reporters take a deep dive into how New Yorkers get around, or sometimes how we don't get around. On the Way, Thursdays on All Things Considered, or sign up for our weekly email at wnyc.org/newsletters.
Low 60s right now with clouds in the city. We have chances of showers, maybe a mid-afternoon thunderstorm. Keep that umbrella handy. Cloudy and 70, and the winds gusting to 21 miles an hour, so it's going to feel even cooler than that.
Okay. Heavy traffic 78 westbound, presumably due to rubbernecking of quite an interesting accident, crash, whatever. On eastbound, there's a pickup truck pointed the wrong way halfway up the bank. Multiple fire trucks, ambulance, all kinds of stuff. There is no reason traffic on this side needs to be this slow. People are rubbernecking. I guess I can merge into this slow traffic and be ready. That was quite a bad accident. There's heavy damage on the front of the truck. It hit one of the aluminium light masts on the side of the freeway, and it's right at the Glenside exit. Now I'm stuck in the container traffic here. So some of these containers are going to be actually very heavy. So if they were forced to slow down at the traffic on this hill, they will find it very difficult to pick up speed again. And I think that's what's happening now. Both the one to my left and the one ahead of me are just bimbling along. More sirens on the other side of the road. These container trucks are now picking up speed on this downslope, and they're almost at 60. And there's another container up ahead. So there is a container ship in the port of Newark emptying out this morning, and there often is. But seeing that many containers all in a short stretch of road is a good sign. So many of these vehicles stuck in traffic on 78 eastbound that we can see are commuting towards New York or industrial traffic. You can see there's a ton of trucks. Probably at this time, very few of the occupants of these vehicles are actually commuting all the way into New York. Because if you actually wanted to do that, at least partially in a car, you're probably leaving a lot earlier. But clearly a bunch of these people live further out or in Pennsylvania, and are working in the suburban core in New Jersey around New York City. We have a protest sign on the bridge, protect our Constitution. That changes fairly often. Now I'm doing roughly the speed limit, and those people ahead will be doing, what, 75, some of them maybe 80 at some point. Okay, now all of the eventful stuff is passed. Let's go back to the radio.
Persons may have stood in the public square and their issues, and one of the things that this killer did is not only take this life that should have never touched, you have no right, but in some ways undermined a debate we need to have, and that is, if we're going to talk about faith and religion in the public square.
That Honda is carving up traffic like crazy. He came up really fast behind me, swerved around a truck, and as you can see maybe on the dash cam, it's going to go carve up that traffic ahead. That's what makes this road dangerous, not people travelling fast in the same lane for long periods of time.
Contrary to promoting the general welfare, contrary to ensuring domestic tranquility, and contrary to equal protection under the law.
Can I jump in and just ask here, do you remember how you heard about what happened to Charlie Kirk? And I just wonder what went through your mind. Is it
We still have traffic on the other side, on the 78 eastbound. So just past exit 41, up here on the left, is a turnout where you often get a state trooper. But I imagine they are all busy right now with that little fracas a couple of miles behind us. These vehicles in the middle lane are going below the speed limit, which is fine, but maybe they should be doing that in the slow lane. Okay, back to the radio.
Language is automatic.
Oh, and yes, we still have moving but slightly heavy traffic. This is all just slowly condensing down, I guess, towards the stoppage further back.
Leave a line up with, I mean, even the FBI, the police can't tell you what the motive is. What?
Some sort of a service vehicle with flashing orange. Is that one of those? Yeah. NJ DOT trucks that assist people at the side of the road. Maybe that is required for some sort of assistance in cleanup at that accident, maybe not. Huge skid mark on the middle of the road here, so that was certainly visible on the dash cam. There was a twin axle truck tyre skid mark that went, I think, from the fast lane all the way over to the shoulder. So what happened there was a truck's air brakes locked up all of a sudden and caused chaos, and that truck had to dramatically veer over to the shoulder. There's all kinds of fun things visible on 78 today. The little white shuttle that I passed earlier in the middle lane is now blocking the outside lane and causing a pile-up of traffic behind it. You can see all those brake lights ahead. By my estimation, he's doing the speed limit in the outside lane, which is again fine, but the inside lane is doing the speed limit, so maybe he should just do it there. You can see all of the cars that are piled up behind him in the outside lane are now moving through the middle lane to go around him, and he has to be aware of that. And that guy is a professional driver. Up ahead is another turnout where you often get a state trooper, again likely to be empty today.
That is the Reverend William Barber II. He is the founding director of Yale Divinity School Center for Public Theology, among many other responsibilities. Reverend Barber, thank you so much for speaking with us once again.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Blessings.
I don't really want to be in the outside lane right now. I'm kind of forced. I'm just going to overtake this vehicle.
Yeah, this is WNYC. 65 and partly sunny right now. Chances of showers, maybe mid-afternoon thunderstorm, cloudy and 70 winds gusting to 21 miles an hour today.
That white van was a painter's van, allegedly, Premier Painting. Obviously not a very premier van. And it is doing, I want to say, less than 60, maybe 55. And that may be about as fast as that thing goes, because it looks pretty junky from the outside. But obviously that's not a wonderful thing to have on a freeway like this. Clear flowing traffic on 78 East, and little did they know, these poor travellers on the left there, that they're about to hit a large red spot, red line on Google Maps, Google Traffic. Again, this blue truck on my right, that's doing maybe just over 55. And if that truck were full, that would be understandable, but I think it's empty. And maybe the gear ratios are such that it has trouble getting up above 60. Nice big fat cell tower visible up ahead, covering up and down the interstate here.
That decision was announced yesterday by Utah County Attorney Jeff Gray as Robinson made his first court appearance virtually from jail. NPR's Odette Youssef says Gray also detailed text messages and a note, he says, Robinson exchanged with his roommate, who was also his romantic partner.
Gray shared information about a note that Robinson allegedly left behind for this roommate saying, quote, I have the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk and I'm going to take it. And when his roommate asked after the killing why Robinson had done it, Robinson texted, quote, I I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out.
Robinson has yet to enter a plea. This is NPR News.
And this is WNYC 65 in Barclay, sunny now at 8:32. Good morning, I'm Michael Hill. A Queens contractor is set to serve 4 years in prison for scamming the city out of millions of dollars tied to homeless shelter contracts. WNYC's Julia Hayward reports.
Leo Chima led a company called AFL Construction. Prosecutors say the company held $12 million in city contracts for work at shelter sites. Investigators say Chima submitted fake invoices for work that wasn't done and inflated costs for materials. Some invoices even included names and a social security number of people who never worked on the projects. Prosecutors also say that Chima used forged employment letters, one with the name of a project manager who was already dead, to fraudulently collect Medicaid benefits. He's been ordered to pay more than $3 million and is scheduled to surrender on October 31st.
Governor Kathy Hochul got her COVID vaccine yesterday, and she says you should too. The governor got a...
Okay, looks nice and clear going up the hill here. First of all, as you start going up the hill, some of the heavy trucks have trouble. Secondly, at the top of the hill there's a significant amount of road work, and if they happen to be reconfiguring it or making any changes to the traffic layout, you often get a lot of traffic. And at some point it's a work zone, so we're going to slow down to 50 or something. But this is remarkably clear right now for this time of day. That truck is slowing slightly on the hill. Okay, up ahead we have a lane division to carve out an area of road so they can work on a bridge. Actually 2 bridges in a row. As of right now they're working on the far right hand side, essentially on the shoulder of one of the bridges. They've chipped away all of the road surface, which was of course concrete, plus a bunch of the structural concrete, and they're relaying forms and rebar in order to re-pour the structural concrete of the bridge span. And hopefully that you'll see lots of green metal and also some silver metal for the forms. Hopefully that will prepare you to be able to see something on the dash cam that's meaningful. See, we've already split the roadway here. The section to the left goes off onto a special temporary bridge between the main eastbound and westbound lanes. And the section I'm on now is what used to be the fast lane of westbound, and they're working on the slow lane and the shoulder. You can see lots of rebar action happening there. They're getting close to being able to pour. Well, it's been like that for a couple of months though, so who knows what close means in this context. Now there's a second bridge further down where they're basically doing the same stuff, but they're not quite up to the same stage yet. And again, there's another split where the 2 left lanes go off to 78 West and the right lane turns into 2 lanes where you get a chance to go to 287 North and 287 South. This pattern could change at any time, and it will, after they do these concrete pours and fix these bridge spans, they will change the pattern so as to work on the other side. And that's quite a momentous thing, and there's lots of chaos happens when they do that. There you can see some guys working on various things. All well and good. Okay. We are informed end road work. And I'm going to head towards North 287. Kia looked like he had a last minute wavering there. I hope they're not going to stop and reverse up the ramp or something. That's a total Jersey move. Okay, here we are on I-287 North. I need the next exit after this one, so all I've got to do is get out of the exit only lane and move back over to the right again up ahead. Here we have a bit of congestion. I believe this is just natural heavy traffic. 287 North here often has this kind of a slowdown exactly at this point. And usually I'm lucky enough to be able to get off of my exit before I actually get into it properly. I think the reason for this is that there's a merge up ahead, and it just, heavy traffic just backs up. Cell tower over there disguised as a pretty funny pine tree. Okay. Yeah, that shouldn't be too bad. If we needed to go up there, I think it resolves relatively quickly. But then again, you get another sort of compression wave type slowdown as you get near Morristown. 287 has bad traffic in general, much worse than 78. Unless, of course, there's a huge crash on 78, as there is this morning. Okay, I'm now on 202 and 206 North, which is a common feature of Jersey roads. The two highways run together for a while, confusing people. It's more confusing with the road that's labelled 1 and 9 or 1-9 near Jersey City, because locals call it 1 and 9 in a sense that makes it difficult to figure out that it's actually two roads. Where am I going? Well, I'm going to terminate this video in the centre of Bedminster. My ultimate destination is quite nearby. Let's go on North 202, just for a laugh. So you can see North 206 to the left, North 202 to the right. We have traffic crews out, or highway operations out mowing the grass. Keeping Bedminster beautiful, at least near the highways. And here we are in pretty much downtown Bedminster. A lot of the schools are off to the right here, and there's the municipal offices, and there is the Bedminster Constabulary. I'm going to turn into this ugly office complex ahead. I hope you enjoyed my drive from Summit to Bedminster. What fun that was.